Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Jazakallah khair, with us again for today's Halaqa. Today we have second part of the same discussion which was started last week, way to believe. And Brother Atiq, Jazakallah khair, may Allah bless him. He was last week on Umrah, and may Allah accept his efforts for Umrah as well. So he's again with us today. He will take us through to the second part of the same discussion. So Brother Atiq, floor is yours.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Hamdu Shakirin, Wassalatu Wassalamu ala Rasulillahi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Last week, we opened a discussion about the idea of the belief in the existence of the Creator. And I discussed and presented some methods and tools that a human mind can use to arrive at the conclusion that why we believe in Allah and how we prove that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala absolutely exists. Because we are Muslims, right? And we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is one of the core pillars of our Iman, right? We have 6 pillars of Iman, right? And the first one is believe in Allah. Now, we Muslims, we believe in Allah, and I presented a question last week that if a non-Muslim asked to you to prove to him why you believe in Allah and how you can prove that Islam is the truth. So what methods we have that we can present to a non-Muslim and say that yes, this is my rational basis and this is the reason why I believe with so conviction that yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really exists. Because you see, we Muslims, we live in an environment, we are born into a Muslim family, but we never think rationally that whether what we believe in as a matter of, which basically forces us to do actions in this life, does it have any rational basis on it or not? So we started a discussion about that. And tonight, this is the second part of that discussion, which basically deals in, once we establish the existence of the Creator, then a natural question arises that, if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how do you know that the message that you are following is really from the Creator, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How do you know? How do you prove that Quran is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How do you link this? Right? So this is, you can prove to an atheist or a non-Muslim that yes, Creator exists, and I'm going to just recap now of my last week's discussion. You see, we humans, we think in a certain way. Our conduct and our behavior in this life depends on the emotions and concepts that we hold about this life. And this life, if I can summarize and categorize into 3 components that man can sense in this, in this life are 3: man, life, and universe. So it's very important for us to understand very, very deeply and clearly that what this man, life, and universe are. And what is the relationship between man, life, and universe, and what precedes this man, life, and universe, and what is going to come after this life. Once we have this connection, once we have this life, right? Once we have the connection that what precedes this life and what is going to come after this life, then we will generate a comprehensive thought about life, which will have significant impact on our actions in this life. So I said that the man, life, and universe. If you just for a second, if you think about man, life, and universe, man is also limited, weak. We grow up to a certain size, and we die, right? So there is a beginning and there is an end. Similarly, life only manifests in an individual, right? And it also begins and it also ends. Similarly, if you look at the universe, and last week I went into a little bit of more detail about, discussing the universe. If we just ponder upon and look at the universe, all the celestial bodies, if we look at one by one, the moon, sun, planets, anything, everything is limited. Every single thing, if we can sense, the man can sense only man, life and universe. Man doesn't have capability to sense anything beyond man, life and universe. This is the comprehensive view that a man can sense. So universe is also a unit which is the sum of all limited entities, whether it be stars or whether it be nebulas, supernovas, planets, earth, moon, anything. So if we sum up all the limited things into one entity, that also becomes a unit which is limited. So this gives us a conclusion that whatever a man sees in this universe, in this world, in his life, everything is limited. Not only limited, everything is imperfect, weak, and it is finite, and it is dependent on something else to exist. If you look at man is dependent on millions of things: water, air, food, other people. We have a life, right? I'm dependent on Brother Tariq and you guys, he has set it up, all this. We are dependent on computers, right? So we have dependency. Similarly, life, in order for life to exist, it depends on many other things, right? So it's dependent, it's finite, it's weak. Similarly, universe. If you look at the universe is also dependent on some other, factors. For example, Earth. And I gave an example last week about a magnetic sphere, which is basically, surrounding our Earth. If that sphere doesn't exist, we will die very, very quickly, because the sun shoots out very heavy and massive solar flares, and it can damage and it can quickly burn, our Earth in a second. But that magnetic sphere, what it does is, it basically moves around all these, damaging rays, and it just, moves around to the, the poles, and dissipates the energy. So you see, everything is dependent, finite, and limited. So if we were to ponder upon, the creation, whatever we see, man, life, and universe, everything is limited. And if I say everything is limited, it means that it is not eternal. Is that right? If anything is limited, if the table is limited, it's not eternal. Right? If the masjid, the masjid is limited, it's not eternal. I can't say it's unlimited. So it means that every sensible thing which we can sense with our mind is limited, is weak, and it is not eternal. If it is not eternal, it means that it was created at some point in time. It has to have a beginning at some point, right? If it has a beginning, it means that somebody must have created it, right? So now see this, just looking at the things in the universe or surrounding, our life, we just come to a conclusion within a very easy way that there must exist a creator. We cannot use, the other method. This is a rational method, by the way. And I think last week I gave the 4 components of the rational method, that how we think, how the human mind produces thought. There are 4 components. We have to have a reality. We have to have a sense, to sense the reality. We have to have a mind which can process the sense reality. And it must be linked with the previous information to generate a thought. Right? So the point is that when we see around us, we come to a conclusion that there is a creator. Right? Now this creator there are three possible, possibilities that this creator has. For example, number one, that someone else might have created this creator, or this creator has created himself, or this creator is eternal. Right? There are only three possibilities. That this creator, now we have come to a conclusion that yes, there is a creator. There exists a creator. So now there are only three possibilities. Whether this creator is created by someone else, or this creator created himself, or some unlimited eternal, or this creator is eternal. Now if you look at all these possibilities, the first two possibilities cannot exist. If some other creator, if some other created being created this creator, so it means that we can ask a question, we can raise a question, who created the first creator then? Yeah, so we can go into the circular dependency or infinite regression, right? So that's not the way. The second is that this creator created himself, which is not possible, which is absurd. This idea is absurd. It's not possible. It means that the creator exists and non-existent at the same time. So we are left with only one possibility. Yes, this creator is eternal, and we know by our senses that we cannot sense this creator, because this is beyond our perception, beyond our capability to perceive this creator. And that's how we know that this is our creator. This creator cannot be part of the matter that we see. It cannot be part of the universe. This creator must be outside of the universe or beyond the universe. So this is the rational thinking. Now if you look at the scientific method, which I discussed last time, we cannot utilize the scientific method. Why? Because you see, our experience, we have seen that, we have experienced it, that science has limitations, right? It is only applicable to things which can be observable and testable, right? And science also has a limitation that it is right one day and wrong the next. So how can we employ a method which is weak in its essence, and we can build our belief based on a weak foundation? We cannot build a belief based on weak foundation, right? Our belief must be on a very strong and solid footing. It should be pretty concrete. It should not be based on weak foundation. Otherwise, our palace of Islam will be shaken if it is built on weak foundation. And you see that these days, when we move outside, in the West or other countries, we face, there are several ideas which are generating every single day, and which are influencing our young minds. And basically the idea not to believe in the existence of a creator. There is no Allah. This is the question. And I have been told by various youth, this is the question their friends they are asking, and they are just turning away from. Right? So we cannot. So basically what they're trying to do is they are using the scientific method. They want to see everything with their eyes. And the rational thinking is basically what you can use your intellect. And Quran, in hundreds of ayats, it says that, use your intellect. Why don't you think? Why don't you look? Why don't you ponder? Right? So that's the rational method. And I gave an example, like for example, if you're looking at this presentation, you can employ rational thinking and just say that yes, somebody must have developed this presentation. Right? Regardless who, but at least the existence of a creator. There is the existence of a person who has developed this. Now there are two things here. We just proved that how we can arrive on the existence of a creator. There is another aspect, which basically these scientific scientists and these scientific thinking people, they go to that direction. There's one thing which is the existence of a creator, which we just proved. The other thing is how we know the essence of the creator. The question that you asked last week about the scientists, and they are looking at the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what we are saying rationally is that yes, by looking at the creation, we come to a conclusion that yes, somebody must exist. For example, I showed a painting and you can see this picture, right? I mean, somebody must have drawn this picture, if it is a painting, let's say. So we know by rational thinking that the painter exists, but we cannot prove by scientifically or scientific method that painter exists or not. Right? That's the rational thing, because that's the other method of thinking which we use to arrive at this conclusion. So basically that's a gist of, and as I said, the important point is to differentiate between the proving the existence of the Creator and not sensing the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we cannot, because we have a very limited, perception. Our mind is limited. We cannot think beyond the universe. We have a limited capability. We cannot go there, and we are not, I would say we are not allowed to, think on those lines. That's enough. For me, if I say that's enough for us to just perceive that yes, there is a Creator. Now the question would be, now that, okay, fine, there's a Creator that exists, but how do we know that He has sent a message? Right? And that's what my second part of the talk is today, that I'm going to discuss. So points for discussion tonight is need for the message. Why do we need a message? I'm going to just analyze this question. Why do we need a message? Okay, there are many people, they believe in the existence of a Creator. They say, yes, the Creator exists, but He doesn't say anything to us. Why do we believe in the message? And how do we know that the message is from the Creator? The third point, actually it's the third point, Quran, how do we prove that Quran is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And the second point is, how do we know that this message is actually coming from the Creator of this universe? These are three different. First is, why do we need a message as a human being? The second is, how do we know that this message is absolutely from the Creator of this universe that we are discussing? And the third thing is that the source of the message, the Quran. How do we know that it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? Now, before I go into need for message, I just want to show you this picture to just give you a background that what does this mean. Now, here in picture you see, and the kids, I'm sure that they must be very keen to tell, what type of phones are these? Can you tell? Okay. Here in picture, we can see three different types of mobiles, right? What is the unique difference between each of these? Any idea? Brand and operating system. That's absolutely correct. The operating system, because each of these three mobiles has been designed with a different program. We cannot use the Apple Store on Microsoft Mobile, right? And similarly, we cannot use the Play Store in the Apple or the Microsoft, right? So it means that somebody must have designed each mobile for its specific use. They have their specific programs designed by the designer, right? So it's a default program, which is, so exactly in the same way I'm going to discuss later on, just keep in mind. Okay, need for the message. Now, okay, why do we need the message? Right, this is a question. Now, when we look at the moon or the stars, and I talked about many things last week about the intelligent design, right? When we look at the creation and when we ponder and we reflect on the existence of the Creator, what happens is this causes a reaction within us, and that is called the spiritual feeling. When we go for Umrah or Hajj or prayer, it also causes a spiritual feeling. That is a natural feeling that comes out as a natural feeling. It is designed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Exactly in the same way the programs are designed in the mobiles. This is the instinct. This is one of our instincts, sanctification. This is called a sanctification or to worship. If we are not aware of this sanctification, how to satisfy this instinct, there is going to be a void inside us. And we see that there are many people around the world, they are trying to fill this void with, drugs or, the freedom or, the enjoying endlessly or, going around. What they are trying to do, they are trying to fill this gap because they are not sure that how to fill this gap. So this is the program that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed for us. And you see that even if you look at, just a normal, I'm just on a lighter side, I'm just going to give you an example that we don't feel like, having friendship with a table. Or we don't feel like having a relationship with a curtain over there. Why don't we have that relation? Because we are not designed to have a drive to have a relationship with any of these things. We are designed to have a relationship with friends, with families, with your father, mother, right, wife. We are designed to seek mate. We are designed to seek wealth. We are designed to seek friendship. And similarly, we are designed to seek sanctification. So if you are not sanctifying correctly, or if you are not worshipping correctly, it will definitely end into the wrong path. Right? So, and there are two, by the way, there are actually three instincts we have. And I just want to give you as a side note that man, we have three instincts. So humans are designed with three built-in programs. We have three built-in programs, and basically these programs drive us to take some action. And we need to be aware of these programs. What are these programs? Right? Number one, a survival instinct. You see, we all love our life. We don't want to be standing or crossing the road when the traffic is coming. We just run away quickly, right? Because we love our life. That's a survival instinct. We do our jobs. We travel here and there to do business or do a job or, why? It's a survival, because we want to earn money in order to feed us, to feed a family, right? That's the survival instinct. And there are many other manifestations that we can see in the survival instinct. Like, for example, if you are going for a vacation, for example, that's also the survival instinct, right? Because you want to survive your life. The second instinct is the social instinct, which I also call a species instinct or the procreation instinct. Man, we like to be in the families. Among the people, because we cannot live alone in the jungle or alone. We cannot live in the mountains or outside where the people are not living, right? So that's our instinct, because we are designed to live with people. I gave an example earlier that let's say if you have a brand new community and you just split and break it into parts and just send each one of individual into far apart in jungles and mountains there, soon you will see that after some time they will start to come together, because we are dependent. We need other people. We need to see people. And it happens, whenever you are traveling, for long travel, if you are away from your family, you like to come back very quickly because you want to see your family, right? So that's our social, our species, our procreation instinct, right? And the third instinct is the worship or sanctification, and which I discussed just now, that every human being likes to worship because there is an innate demand, there is an inner demand. We have this demand from inside. If we are not worshipping, then it means there's a void there, and that is going to be filled by something else, which may not be correct. Right? So basically the point is that key points are that humans are designed to seek sanctification, and the second point is we have life. So I said 2 quick points. Why we need a message? Because we need to organize our relationship with the Creator. That is number 1. And number 2 is we have a life, right? We are living in life. We have friends, we have family, we have wife, we have mother, we have neighbors. We have life. How to organize relationship with our other fellow human beings? So we need a message, because we cannot decide on our own with our limited perception that what is good for us and what is best for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best for what is best for us. Right? So humans are designed to seek sanctification, and the second point is that we need guidance to organize this life, and what we see, organizing this life, I just came other point, which is basically the laws that we establish to organize our life. How we are organizing it. If you look at around the world, people are making laws by themselves. Right? We are organizing. We are not looking at what the Creator wants us to do. We are organizing our laws by ourselves. Democracy. Laws by the people, for the people. Right? So, and because of that, we have problems in the world. We have miseries, so much of miseries in the world, because these laws are kept on changing. Because we are making law. Because we cannot. We don't have that capability to know that what is best for us. And we are making laws. For example, I came across this example, this drug, marijuana. In states, this has become legal. Few years ago, it was illegal. So they have just changed it. Similarly, the homosexual marriages. Few years ago, it was a crazy idea. No one would have believed it. And now they are, just making it legal. Because the laws, the man-made laws, they keep on changing, because they are not sure what is best for us. It is just based on whims and desire and benefit harm analysis. So marijuana, they have made it legal. So it means that throughout the years they were persecuting the people just for having those drugs, and they have arrested for a long time. And now you're saying that those were the innocent and they were wrong. I mean, how does it work? Right? So the idea is that we need message for 2 reasons. Why? Because we need to organize our relationship with the Creator, and also we need to organize our relationship with humans, which is our family, friends, community, laws, how we are going to make laws. Who will have the say in the laws that we are making? Who will advise better? Right? So that is regarding the need for the message. Right? Now we know that, okay, we need a message, right, from the Creator. Now, how the Creator will send us the message? There are only 2 modes of communication. One is either man talk to the Creator, or Creator talk to man. What we know that based on our experience, that man cannot talk to Creator, right? We cannot talk to Creator, right? So that option is no more applicable. The only option is that the Creator talk to man. Now we also know that the Creator does not speak with every single human being, right? So Creator doesn't speak with every single human. He doesn't give the message to every human that, okay, here's the message. So what he does is, the Creator, he sends the messenger. He appoints a messenger and he gives it the message to the messenger. He says that, okay, give it to the people. That's the only way. Right? Now, if a messenger, is carrying the message, how do we know that he is the messenger? How do we know that he is carrying a message from the Creator of this universe? That's a question, right? So what attributes, for example, let me give you an example just for the kids here, just to understand this point that, okay, how do we believe in the messenger, right? Let's say 5,000 years ago, we are sitting around in the field and in burst a wise man with a thobe, with a beard and with a white thobe, and he just yelling at the way, I am the messenger and I have a message. How do we know that the message or he is the messenger of Allah? What criteria we will apply to prove or to understand or believe in him that yes, he is the messenger? What if, now, we could say that, oh, he's a liar, or we will say, okay, we don't know. But what if he is Musa alayhi salam? What if he is Isa alayhi salam? How do we prove that he is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In Surah Yasin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَنزَلَ الرَّحْمَنِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ إِنْ أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا تَكْذِبُونَ. The merciful, because they claim that at that time, they claim that the merciful has not revealed anything. And you people are liars. So, it's very easy to say that, okay, you are a liar. How we would differentiate between a liar and from someone who is speaking the truth. Right? So, the only way is that person has to have something that no other human being can do in the same circumstances, which we call a miracle. Right? Mu'jiza. Yeah. No other human being can do that. Right? He has to show something from the Creator that no other human being has capability to imitate that or replicate it. That has to be with a miracle. For example, no way, a human being can just jam it, the stick into the sea and just split it. There's no way that it can happen. We have not seen. This is not our experience. Similarly, it's not possible for an ordinary human being that to just, touch the face of a person and that's instantly heal it. As Isa alayhi salam, he used to cure people from leprosy. Right? He just touches the face and, instantly. Yes, these days, people are inventing cures, for medicine, but it takes time. It's not instant. Right? How that Isa alayhi salam used to do that, a person is dead for a few years and he just walks out of the ground alive and well, So that is something that no other human being can do. So that person who has brought a message, if he is saying that I have a message, he has to have a miracle to prove that yes, he is from the Creator. Because what we established in the first talk is the Creator is outside of this universe and he is beyond our perception. So the message that he sent, it should be also from outside that reality, outside our reality. We cannot perceive that. It has to have a miracle. Right? So what would be the attributes of a messenger? It has to have a message. The messenger must have a message. They say, yes, I have a message, and he has to have a miracle. For example, just a picture just to show. He has to have a miracle. So, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has combined both message and the miracle into one thing. It's Quran. Right? Quran is a miracle. Now, how do we know that Quran is a miracle? Right? Now, you see, the previous messages also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just made sure that the message should not change, so He sent prophets after prophets. In Bani Israel, we know that, the prophet used to come, every time Bani Israel used to have the prophets. And there's a hadith which says that the children of Israel, they used to have prophets manage their affairs. Every time one prophet dies, another came in. And Rasulullah said that there won't be any prophets after me. There's going to be khulafa and they will number many. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made sure that the message doesn't change, so He sent prophets after prophets, prophets after prophets. But for this one, it's the Quran. There won't be any change, because this message is unchangeable. Now, if we look at the composition, as I said, the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has combined both message and the miracle in Quran. What does this exactly mean? That if you see that Quran, after more than 1400 years of, till now, it's still unchangeable, it's still in its original form. And its structure, its linguistic structure, has not been challenged up to this date now. Although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran challenges that bring, and the last challenge, the challenge started with a book, then 10 surahs, and then last challenge was bring one chapter. And one chapter is the smallest chapter. What is the smallest chapter in Quran? Surah Qasr. Right? Surah Qasr. So the challenge is to bring one chapter like Surah Qasr, and Surah Qasr, if you just look at it, it's just 10 words. It's absolutely impossible to imitate Quran word by word because of its structure. It has a very unique combination of prose and poetry, because we know that there are only two forms of expression. Either it's prose or poetry. And Quran has a unique combination of both of these aspects. Now imagine, we understand the Quran, right? And we exactly know the rules and regulations, that how the Quran grammar works and functions, and what does this actually means, how this word fits into here. We know exactly every single word of Quran. We understand the meaning. It's easy to memorize it, right? We can memorize, even a young boy can memorize it. It's so easy to understand. We hear the recordings or audio a few times and we just memorize it. It's so easy, but yet it is impossible to just, make a similar statement like Surah Qasr. Why? Because we cannot perceive this miracle. This is a miracle. Exactly in the same way, the other miracles which cannot be copied, this cannot be copied. This is a miracle. Right? So, and we know that up to this date, the Quran has not been changed. It's exactly in its original form till this day. Now, how do we know that this Quran is actually from the Creator? Right? We have proved that, need for the message. We have proved that, how do we believe that the messenger who brought this message is from the Creator? But how do we know that this Quran is actually from the Creator? And there are only four possible, possibilities that this Quran is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are only four possibilities. And there are only four possible sources of Quran. It could be either from non-Arabs. Yeah, this Quran could have written by non-Arab, or an Arab could have written this Quran. Right? The third would be Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam may have written this. And the last would be, this is the only option, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's analyze these four, options. The first option is non-Arab. Now, I don't expect that I can write a 500-page literature in Arabic or any other language which is not my language. Right? So that possibility, we cannot understand this possibility. It's not possible. The other possibility is the Arabs. Now I'm going to ask this question to every one of you here. Do you think that the Arab could have written this book? Reason why? Yes, because you see that the Arabic language, the Quraysh or the Makkah, they were the highest, Arab linguists at that time. They used to have the competition in poetry and prose. They were like, the scholars of Arabic. I mean, they were the peak of their, the language, and they were the master of their Arabic language. And this challenge even from that day, and they tried to imitate and, mimic the Quran, the speech of Quran, but they failed. And they fear that they are going to be embarrassed, by this margin. I mean, they never dare to, attempt copying the Quran, because they knew that this is something beyond this universe. This is not written by a human being. It could not have been come from Arab. So that is the possibility. The Arab could not have written this. The third possibility is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He may have written it. Now, what are the reasons that why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have not written this book? Why? First of all, number one is that he never claimed it. Number two, that even the Makkah, the Arabs around him, they never said that, okay, he has written this. Right? And the third very strong point is that we know the ahadith. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was saying the ahadith and the Quran at the same time, and with two different forms of speech. And they were never, I mean, both of these form of speech is totally different. They never coincide. This is a different form of speech, and this is a different form of speech. And we cannot hide, a person cannot hide his personality in writings or speaking. His natural style will come out, everyone, just by, looking at his writing, anyone can, just recognize that he's that person. You cannot hide your personality from your writings or from your... So now imagine that, the one person and two different forms of speech is coming out. So he is not the one who wrote the Quran. So then we are left with only one, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So, and that's how we know that the Quran is absolutely and exactly from the creator of this universe, who created us, and he is the one who has sent down this message for us human beings to live this life according to his message, according to his commands. So now you see that how we started. We started that how to believe in the existence of the Creator through rational basis, right? And then again, using the rational basis, we come to a conclusion that this message is also from the same Creator who created us. Why? Because we are in need of this message. The Creator doesn't have to give us this message. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the Quran is the Rahman. Islam is Rahman lil Alameen. Right? This is Rahman. He doesn't need to give us the message. This is our need. We need this message. Right? So we come to a conclusion by looking at this, that okay, we know that yes, we know and we believe in the existence of Creator based on rational basis, right? Number one, and we also know that the message He sent is absolutely from Him, and what we are following, Quran, is the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are believing in. And then after that, once we believe in the Creator and the message and the Quran, then we should believe everything which is inside the Quran. The belief in the angels, because the Quran says it. The Quran also says that the Rasulullah is the final messenger, and here's how we know that Rasulullah is the final messenger. Similarly, we also know the Jannah and Jahannam, because the Quran says that, because we just proved that Quran is the message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever is inside, the Quran, whatever is Allah informing us about with Quran, we have to believe in that. Why? Because there are two types of belief. I have discussed two types of belief. One is the aqli belief, and the other one is the naqli belief. So aqli belief is that through your aql, through your mind, you come to a conclusion that yes, through your aql, are seeing the things around, you come to a conclusion that yes, somebody must have created me, and He is the Creator, and with the rational basis, we come to a conclusion that Quran, the message is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now we know that this message and this Quran and the Creator exists. So we believe in what message he has sent completely by heart with full conviction. And that's the certainty I talked about in my first talk. Once we attain this certainty, this will affect our action in this life. We will perform our action as if these are natural. Because remember, I said that when the certainty level goes high, close to 100%, our actions become natural. We will not be thinking about any action that, okay, why I'm taking this action. This is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is we need to believe in. So we believe in everything that He has revealed to us. Everything in the Quran that He has told us, the stories, the people ask also about, the prophets. Why do you believe that, the other people existed? For example, Ibrahim alayhi salam. There are no scientific records. There are no fossils. How do you believe that Ibrahim alayhi salam existed? Because why? I know that the Quran says that. I know with full conviction because Quran talks about Ibrahim alayhi salam that yes, he existed there. Right. So that's how we come to a conclusion about our belief. So now see that we have covered all the pillars of our iman, right? We have 6 pillars of iman. Right? So we have covered the belief in Allah, we have covered belief in Messenger, we have covered belief in Quran, belief in angels, Qada wal Qadar, and the Day of Judgment. Because the Quran says that there is going to be an accountability day. Because we will be eventually accountable, and that's how we know that yes, we will be asked. We will be asked about our actions on the Day of Judgment, that if we believed in this message, why didn't we follow this message? And just last point, I just want to conclude with this. When we talk about Iman, I think most of us, we think that Iman is linked to our ritual actions. Salah, Hajj, Zakah, these type of. So basically our Iman, if somebody is very pious, he's praying, 5 times and Tahajjud and everything, we say that your Iman level is high. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not linking Salah and all these with the Iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Fala wa Rabbika, know by your Lord. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes oath, in Quran, at many places, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes oath of many other things. Washams, Wadduha, Wal Asr, many other things. But here he takes oath by himself. Fala wa Rabbika, know by your Lord. You will have no Iman hatta, until you make Rasulullah judge to solve your dispute, right? To judge your affairs, right? And you don't have any haraj in your heart. You don't have any resistance. So now see here, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking oath by himself and he's connecting Iman with the hukum. Yuhakkimuka. Hukum. The hukum and Iman, both are linked, right? So unless we take all our judgment by Rasulullah into our affairs, and we don't feel any resistance within our heart, and we believe it and we accept this as with yusallimu taslima, with full conviction, with full submission. So that's the Iman. And there are many other verses also which also talks about the Iman, right? So this is the whole topic, I started last week about the belief that how as a Muslim we understand and we know that what we believe in is a true message. It is from the Creator, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how we can talk or prove to a non-Muslim that why we believe in this message. Right? So that's how we come to a conclusion that because you see the belief, as I said last week, that this is the foundation based on which we will, because we say pillars of Islam, right? We have 5 pillars of Islam, Arkan. But what is the foundation? Because there will be no benefit if our foundation is weak and we are just, building our palace and pillars and, on top of it. So we have to have a rational basis. We have to have a conviction in our hearts that yes, what we believe in is on the true path, is based on truth, and this is absolutely correct. That will lead us to a certainty inside the heart, and our actions will become natural. We'll أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم. جزاك الله خير. Any questions or comments?
Any question?
Like we have a belief, like if we have some, we cannot see, we cannot visualize, but we can communicate to Allah. We can convey our message. So how you describe this? That the person cannot communicate.
Okay. Yes. Okay. This communication I was talking in a different context. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to send a message, right? There are two modes of communication. Either the creator talks with the humans, or the humans can talk to for the message. Now what you are talking about is your personal relationship with the creator, which we all have. When we make dua, right? So we are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are making it. So yes, we are communicating, but not for the message. We are talking about the guidance, right? So those are two different things.
Jazakallah khair, everyone. May Allah bless you all. May Allah accept our efforts for being here tonight, gaining knowledge from Brother Atiq. May Allah bless Brother Atiq as well for his time. I have one announcement. Next week actually is going to be a very busy week, full of knowledge. It's a series of lectures by Sheikh Sabi Umar. He's our visiting guest. First Halaqa on 18th January, there will be a lesson from Surah Yusuf, and everyone is invited, with family and friends. And on Friday, khutbah, we have the lecture related to blessings of mercy, and similarly on special Friday Halaqa is at 7 p.m. in the evening. There will be a lecture about beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on Saturday youth group, there will be two lectures. One of the lectures will be for the parents having high aspirations, and the other one would be for the youth about leadership begins at home. So everyone is requested to bring your family and friends, and even non-Muslim friends. If you have anyone, among your groups, they are also most welcome to attend these lectures. Jazakallah khair, and I think these files are outside. Maybe you can take those. Jazakallah khair once again.